A land in the heart of Europe, Poland is a strategic axis for the continent. Its location between Germany and Russia has made it a key frontier, but also a meeting point for foreign investment and a growing technology industry. The country is starting to attract attention as an emerging engine of the European Union. Poland dazzles with its history of resistance and its warm-hearted people, all framed by majestic mountains, ancient fortresses, palaces, and breathtaking natural landscapes. Its cities full of character, such as Krakow, a medieval jewel, Gdańsk, with its Hanseatic past, and Warsaw, the modern capital, show a Poland that moves steadily toward the future. Let's explore together and discover how Poland is becoming the new center of power between Russia and the West. Welcome to the Places of the World channel. In the geography of Europe, few nations carry the weight of history like Poland. Located between Germany and Russia, for centuries it was a battlefield, a noble republic, a divided nation, and one that was reborn. Today, in the 21st century, that same space is once again becoming vital. Poland is not just a country with economic expansion. It is the new front line between the West and Moscow, the eastern flank of NATO, and a player that is redefining the European balance. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Warsaw has abandoned all ambiguity. It has emerged as Europe's hawk, increased its defense spending to over 4% of GDP, and launched one of the most ambitious rearmament programs on the continent. It has purchased Abrams tanks from the United States, Fa-50 fighter jets from South Korea, Patriot air defense systems, and HIMARS missile systems. Poland not only wants to deter Russia, it aims to lead the new military axis of Eastern Europe. But Poland's strength is not just strategic, it is also economic. With steady and resilient growth, an expanding middle class, and a booming tech and industrial sector, Poland has become the sixth largest economy in the EU by purchasing power parity. It has attracted foreign investment, semiconductor factories, and is positioning itself as a key logistical hub between the Baltic and the Black Sea. Warsaw is no longer the edge, it is the bridge, the shield, and for many, the next moral, military, and productive leadership of a Europe in the process of redefining itself. On this new board, Poland no longer watches from the sidelines. It moves to the center of the continental game. Its role is just beginning. To understand Poland, one must first look at it from above. In the heart of the European continent, without mountains to protect it and with plains stretching from border to border, Poland has geographically been an open corridor. And in Europe, a corridor always invites passage or invasion. Its territory covers more than 312,000 square kilometers. It is the fifth largest country in the European Union. It borders 7 countries: Germany to the west, the Czech Republic and Slovakia to the south, Ukraine and Belarus to the east, and Lithuania and the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad to the northeast. This location is no coincidence. Poland is exactly where Western Europe turns into Eastern Europe, and this has made it, for centuries, a natural bridge between two worlds, between the developed economies of the West and the geopolitical tensions of the East. Its fertile lands have fed empires. Its rivers, the Vistula and the Oder, have been routes of trade and conflict. Its borders, ever-changing and fragile, have been drawn and erased more than once by wars, treaties, and occupations. It has no direct access to the open sea, but it does have a coast on the Baltic Sea, which gives it strategic access to the north. Through its ports, such as Gdańsk, Poland connects with Scandinavia, Russia, and the rest of Europe. Today, this same geography makes it a key point for the transit of energy, troops, and technology between Western Europe and the countries on the eastern flank. Poland is not only in the middle of the map, it is at the center of history and increasingly at the center of the decisions that will define the future of the continent. Although Poland has several mountain ranges in the south of its territory, such as the Tatras and the Sudetes, unlike many European countries, its geography generally lacks major natural barriers to defend its most vulnerable borders, especially in the east and west. This geographical openness has been one of the historical reasons for its vulnerability to invasions. The country is a vast plain crossed by long and navigable rivers, such as the Vistula, Wisla. The most important one, which flows from south to north and connects key cities like Krakow, Warsaw, and Gdańsk. It has served as a trade artery, a defensive line, and a stage for conflicts. To the west, the Oder-Odra River marks much of the border with Germany. It is one of the few natural features that define Poland's boundaries and is also a key waterway for trade and logistics. In the northeast lies the region of the 1,000 Lakes of Masuria, an area of hills, forests, and more than 2,000 lakes interconnected by rivers and canals. For centuries, this zone was a difficult route to cross and a natural stronghold against invasions from the north. Today, beyond its beauty, it holds military value and is one of the most sensitive areas on NATO's eastern flank. The Baltic Sea to the north is not an easy border. Its low, sandy coast allows for commercial access but offers little defense. For this reason, Poland relies on ports like Gdańsk or Szczecin, which have been reinforced in recent years. In summary, Poland's geography is more vulnerable than protective, but that vulnerability has repeatedly forced it to prepare, adapt, and resist. Today, its rivers and lakes not only shape the landscape, but also define routes, strategies, and threats. On the banks of the Vistula River, between gentle hills and ancient forests, a city destined to be reborn time and again emerged centuries ago, Warsaw. Founded by the dukes of the old Principality of Mazovia at the end of the 13th century. It was in 1596 that King Sigismund III Vasa moved there, the capital of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, marking the beginning of Warsaw's political destiny as the heart of Slavic power. Then called the other Paris of Europe for its elegance and architecture, its history would nevertheless be marked by fire and reconstruction. During World War II, Warsaw was systematically destroyed by the Nazi regime. The heroic insurgent city was 85% destroyed after the brutal repression of the Warsaw Uprising of 1944. From those ruins arose the legend of the Phoenix City, indestructible in its will to live. Under Soviet rule, it was rebuilt with communist discipline, among uniform blocks and propaganda monuments, but also with an almost obsessive fidelity to the old historic center, which would later be declared a World Heritage Site. Today, Warsaw is a symbol of resilience and progress. It is the political capital of a Poland that is rearming and redefining its place in Europe. Its skyline still features the Palace of Culture and Science, a gift from Stalin, standing before modern skyscrapers that reflect its new economic dynamism. Its royal route, colorful squares, Baroque palaces, and green parks such as Lasienki pay tribute to a glorious past and a vibrant present. Warsaw does not forget, but neither does it stop. It is the capital of resistance, of rebirth, and of power. In its streets echoes the music of Chopin and the voice of a nation that never kneels. In the heart of the Polish plain, crossed by the Vistula River and dotted with castles, palaces, and ancient cities, stretches Mazovia, a region that has been, throughout the centuries, much more than a territory. It has been an identity, a crossroads, and the living core of the Polish nation. Until well into the 16th century, Mazovia was an independent duchy, ruled by its own dynasty, with its own laws and a distinct culture. Its historic capital, Łódź, was for a time the capital of Poland, and other cities like Chersk or Pultusk still preserve traces of medieval and Renaissance splendor. Modern Mazovia has Warsaw as its center, but its influence goes beyond the capital. It is the most populated region of the country and the main economic engine of Poland. Since the times of King John III Sobieski, whose Baroque palace in Wilanow remains a jewel of the national heritage, to the years of post-Soviet political reforms, Mazovia has set the rhythm of power. It was from here that many voices of the Solidarity movement emerged, and from where the country's democratic and economic transformation toward the European Union was projected. Culturally, Mazovia has been a cradle of tradition and avant-garde. Its traditional dance, the mazur, not only survives in folk festivals but also inspired Frédéric Chopin to compose his unforgettable mazurkas, true musical portraits of the Mazovian soul. That blend of dignity, melancholy, and strength defines this land well. Today, Mazovia is a center of political decision-making, technological development, and urban growth. But beneath modernity still beats the roots of a proud duchy that was, and remains, the deep heart of Poland. During the High Middle Ages, the territory we now know as Poland was inhabited by two rival West Slavic tribes, the Vistulans and the Polans. The Vistulans settled on Wawel Hill, where they founded present-day Krakow. The Polans, for their part, lived in the Vistula River basin near what is now Warsaw. Everything changed when Mieszko I, leader of the Polans, managed to unify both territories in the year 966. He was baptized, officially introducing Christianity into what would soon become the Kingdom of Poland. The name Poland comes from the Polish term pole, meaning field or plain, likely in reference to the Polans, inhabitants of those vast plains, in contrast to the Vistulans, who lived closer to the Carpathians. By the year 1000, Poland was already a kingdom stretching from Saxony to Kiev. Throughout its history, it has lived through golden ages and dark periods. One of its peaks was the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, formed in 1569, an enormous country for its time, among the largest in Europe. But it also experienced its darkest night, 123 years erased from the map. At the end of the 18th century, it was divided among Prussia, Russia, and Austria. In 1918, after World War I, Poland regained its independence, but not for long. In August 1939, Hitler and Stalin agreed on its partition. On September 1st, Germany invaded. Days later, the Soviet Union would do so from the east. By the end of World War II, 1 in every 5 Poles had died, and the country remained under Soviet control for decades. Freedom only arrived in December 1990, when Lech Walesa was elected president of the Third Republic of Poland. Today, after centuries of fragmentation, wars, and occupation, Poland has emerged as a regional power with its own voice in Europe. Its economy is one of the most dynamic on the continent, and its role in NATO and the European Union grows each year, with a resilient population, investments in defense, and a strong sense of national identity. Poland is once again a key player on the European geopolitical board. Krakow, the historic capital of Poland, was for more than 500 years the home of Polish kings. Today, it is the second largest city in the country and one of the most important cultural destinations in Central Europe. With its medieval architecture, public squares like the Rynek Glony, and the royal complex of Wawel located on a hill that has symbolized national identity for centuries, Krakow positions itself as the spiritual heart of the nation. Here is also the Jagiellonian University, founded in 1364, the oldest in Poland and one of the oldest on the continent, a center of thought and intellectual training for centuries. Its Jewish quarters, like Kazimierz, and historical sites such as Oskar Schindler's former factory keep the memory of the Holocaust alive. Krakow is not only a prominent city within Poland, it is the vital core of the region of Małopolska, of which it is the historical and administrative capital. The influence of Krakow radiates throughout the entire south of the country, structuring a region where natural wealth, rural life, and tradition intertwine with a vibrant, academic, and cosmopolitan city. Małopolska, whose name literally means Little Poland, is paradoxically one of the regions with the highest historical and symbolic density in the country, and Krakow is its beating heart. Małopolska features a diverse landscape bordered by the Carpathians to the south and the Vistula River to the north. It is home to many farms and vineyards, being an important agricultural center of the country. To the south rise the Tatra Mountains, the highest in Poland, with peaks over 2,500 meters and lakes such as Morskie Oko. At its heart is Zakopane, a mountain town famous for its architecture and tourism. Near Krakow is the most visited monument and memorial in Poland, the Auschwitz and Birkenau extermination camps, where an estimated 1,300,000 people died during the Nazi occupation. But Małopolska is much more than a natural postcard. Alongside Krakow, the region represents a symbol of cultural resistance against foreign occupations that attempted to erase Polish identity. Socially, the region combines a strong attachment to Catholic tradition with growing economic dynamism, especially in tourism, services, agribusiness, and sustainable development. Its geopolitical importance has also been key. During the 19th century partitions, Krakow was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, maintaining spaces of cultural autonomy that would be fundamental in the later reconstruction of the Polish state. Its name comes from the Slavic term Pomors, meaning by the sea, and it has been disputed, occupied, and enriched by various cultures. Slavs, Prussians, Germans, and Poles have all left their mark on this strategic strip of Europe. During the Middle Ages, its development was closely tied to maritime trade. Pomeranian port cities were part of the powerful Hanseatic League, which led to an economic flourishing still visible in their Gothic buildings. In the 18th and 19th centuries, it became part of Prussia and later of the German Empire until 1945, when it returned to Polish hands. Today, Pomerania offers endless beaches, dunes like those of Liba, hills, forests, and Teutonic castles. Cities like Toruń, birthplace of Copernicus, shine with their Gothic old towns, while Bydgoszcz, the Little Berlin, fascinates with its architectural diversity. In the north, the Hel Peninsula stretches 35 kilometers, separating the Baltic Sea from the Bay of Puck. The heart of the region is Gdańsk, a city with a Hanseatic soul and a Baltic face. Rich in history and amber, it was a renowned artistic center, and more recently the epicenter of a crucial political change. The Solidarnosc movement, led by Lech Walesa in the Gdańsk shipyards in 1980, marked the beginning of the end of communism in Eastern Europe. Today, Gdańsk is not just memory, it's movement. Turned into a symbol of resistance and renewal, it is also a city experiencing strong economic growth. Its port, the largest in Poland, connects the country with Scandinavia, Northern Europe, and Asia, consolidating Gdańsk as a key logistical hub in European trade. In addition, the city is committed to technological innovation and sustainability, hosting international festivals, innovation fairs, and cultural exhibitions. It is a gateway to the world, but also a mirror of the Polish Renaissance. Young, connected, and proud of its identity. Together with Sopot and Gdynia, it forms the Tricity, a coastal metropolis looking to the Baltic with hope for the future. Silesia is much more than a region in the southwest of Poland. It is a crossroads of civilizations, a zone where history doesn't pass. It remains, disputed for centuries by Poles, Germans, Czechs, and Austrians. Its geography and natural wealth made it a strategic point, and its identity into a mosaic of languages, cultures, and loyalties. Upper Silesia, dominated by the Sudeten Mountains, was historically a land of defense and trade. Castles like Bedzin, built by Casimir the Great in the 14th century to protect the routes to Krakow, bear witness to its military value. Further west, the majestic Mosna Castle, with its fairy tale-worthy neo-Gothic extravagance, reminds us of the region's aristocratic legacy. But it was coal that defined modern Silesia. Katowice, today the capital of the Silesian voivodeship, went from being an insignificant village to an industrial engine during the 19th century Industrial Revolution. It became one of the cradles of this revolution in Central Europe. Mines and steelworks not only boosted Poland's economic development but also attracted investment, migration, and, in turbulent times, territorial disputes. Further west, Lower Silesia, with its capital Wrocław, the former Breslau, symbolizes the changing soul of the region. City of bridges, of universities and Baroque palaces, Wrocław embodies the transition from an imperial Europe to a united Europe. Today, Silesia remains key, connected by highways, railways, and energy networks with Germany and Central Europe. It is vital for Polish-German economic interests, and although the wounds of the past are not forgotten, Silesia proves that old borders can be transformed into spaces of collaboration. In northeastern Poland, where forests merge with endless lakes and traces of the Middle Ages coexist with echoes of the Cold War, lies the voivodeship of Warmia and Masuria, a region as beautiful as it is strategic. Today, this corner that was once land of crusades, bishops, and astronomers has become a focal point of military and tourist interest at the European level. Warmia, conquered by the Teutonic Order in the 13th century, is the birthplace of cities like Frombork, where the remains of Nicholas Copernicus rest beneath a majestic Gothic cathedral. Further south, the regional capital, Olsztyn, combines medieval castles, defensive walls, and communist-era architecture with a vibrant cultural life. Masuria, in turn, is the land of 1,000 lakes, a natural paradise shaped by the last glaciation, ideal for sailors, hikers, and ecotourism enthusiasts. The Elbląg Ostrota Canal, with its astonishing 19th-century inclined ramp system, is a testament to Prussian creativity in the service of commerce. But history does not end with beauty. After World War II, these lands, long under German influence, were fully integrated into Poland. Today, their proximity to Kaliningrad, a heavily militarized Russian enclave, has restored their central role. NATO bases, multinational exercises, and strategic deployments have turned Warmia and Masuria into the new defense line of Europe's eastern flank. Among castles, lakes, and soldiers, this region is today both a tourist postcard and a military outpost, a place where past and present collide, and where the future of European security may be at stake. Wielkopolska, or Greater Poland, is not just a region in western Poland. It is the place where everything began. It was on these lands, over 1,000 years ago, that the Polans, the dominant Slavic tribe, founded the first Polish state. In Gniezno, Duke Mieszko I received baptism in the year 966, an act that not only introduced Christianity, but also marked the beginning of Polish national identity. Since then, Wielkopolska has been a symbol of continuity, resistance, and rebirth. The city of Poznań, the regional capital, preserves that foundational legacy. Birthplace of the country's first bishopric, its cathedral still holds the remains of the first Piast monarchs. Rebuilt after the devastation of World War II, its Renaissance old town is today a symbol of national resilience. In 1918, it was also the epicenter of the Greater Poland Uprising, a victorious revolt that allowed the region to be reintegrated into the new Polish state after the partitions in the south. Lodz represents the modern face of this history, the third largest city in the country. It is an industrial and cultural center with a significant cinematic legacy, a symbol of how Wielkopolska also leads the present, complementing this historical heart. Masuria, the land of 1,000 lakes, offers a glacial paradise for sailors and hikers. Poland is a country of very distinct regions, and although today they form a solid state, each area carries different weight in its geography, economy, and geopolitical role. In the west, regions like Silesia and Lower Silesia are rich in coal and mining tradition. The terrain here is gentle with industrial valleys. This is where the country's most powerful economic belt is located. During the 19th and 20th centuries, this region was contested between Germany and Poland, and it still preserves traces of German identity. In the Central West, the region of Wielkopolska, or Greater Poland, is the agricultural and cultural heart of the country. It was here that the first Polish state emerged in the 10th century. Its flat and fertile land makes it a key productive center heading eastward. The regions of Podlaskie, Lublin, and Subcarpathia in the east are more rural, marked by dense forests, high plains, and a harsher climate. They form the first line of defense against Belarus and Ukraine, and today they concentrate military bases and humanitarian corridors. During World War II, underground resistance networks operated in this area. In the north, Warmia and Masuria are lands of lakes, hills, and forests. They border the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad. This region was once the scene of Prussian battles and is now vital to NATO's northeastern flank. In the south, regions like Małopolska, or Little Poland, combine mountain ranges such as the Tatras with historic cities like Kraków and a strong cultural identity. Kraków was the capital of the Kingdom of Poland for centuries. Each Polish region has its own physical, economic, and historical character. But today they all form a strategic mosaic, organized not only to resist, but to influence the balance of power in Europe. Poland is much more than its turbulent history or its strategic geopolitical location. It is a nation that has invested in knowledge, art, and identity as pillars of its future projection. Its free and high-quality education system has been fundamental in the reconstruction of the country after decades of war and oppression. Literacy is nearly universal, and Polish universities enjoy prestige in Central Europe, serving as a breeding ground for young talent in multiple disciplines. All education is delivered in Polish, one of the most complex languages on the continent, classified as West Slavic. The language stands out for its 32 letters, including 9 diacritics, multiple digraphs, and a grammatical system that even distinguishes gender in surnames. For example, a male surname like Kowalski becomes Kowalska in its feminine form. This linguistic precision is a reflection of the meticulous and deeply rooted character of Polish culture. Cultural life in Poland is intense and diverse, from rural villages to large cities. Folk festivals keep traditions alive with music, dances, and typical costumes that are part of national pride. At the same time, Warsaw, Kraków, and Łódź have established themselves as capitals of art, architecture, and modern design. Polish cinema, internationally recognized, has managed to tell the country's story with a critical and human perspective. Productions such as The Pianist or Man of Iron have gained global prestige, positioning Poland as a relevant voice in world cinema. In its balance between tradition and innovation, Poland projects a firm and sophisticated identity, betting on talent, culture, and education. It reaffirms itself as a European actor that knows who it is and where it is going. After decades of reconstruction, Poland has transformed into a key player in Central Europe. From regions like Pomerania and the port city of Gdańsk, which today represents a strategic gateway to the Baltic Sea, Poland projects not only its economic power but also its growing military importance. Gdańsk, together with Gdynia and Sopot, the so-called Tri-City, hosts one of the most important ports in Northern Europe. This logistical axis has become an essential point for NATO's defense infrastructure, facilitating the movement of troops, equipment, and naval cooperation on the alliance's eastern flank. In addition, Poland hosts defense systems such as the American Aegis Ashore missile shield, reinforcing its role as a stronghold against Russia. Politically, Poland is currently the 5th most populous country in the European Union, with 38 million inhabitants and growing influence in the European Parliament. Its sustained economic growth, its commitment to technological innovation, and its solid industry, especially in the automotive, defense, and agriculture sectors, have made it seen as an emerging engine within the bloc. Since the start of the war in Ukraine, Poland has received more than 3 million Ukrainian refugees, integrating many of them into its workforce and educational system. This humanitarian response has elevated its international profile, demonstrating its capacity for regional leadership. Poland's military spending has increased significantly, reaching 4% of GDP in 2024, the highest percentage in all of NATO. Warsaw has massively invested in modernization, Abrams tanks, F-35 fighter jets, and air defense systems such as Patriot. This restructuring turns it into the new military pivot of Eastern Europe. Poland is also advancing initiatives in energy, like the construction of new nuclear power plants with U.S. support, military mobility, and cybersecurity. Its strategic alliance with the United States and its political weight in Brussels place it in an ideal position to become a leading force in the new post-Ukraine European order. In a world where borders shift and history repeats, Poland stands as a symbol of resilience, culture, and renewal. From its plains and rivers to its cities and people, this nation continues to rise, not just as a survivor of Europe's storms, but as a builder of its future. Thanks for watching, and remember, to understand Europe, you must understand Poland.